All right, here we go again. Buckle up again. Let's try to smooth out those rough roads. So, what I'm being told psychically is to not count on any VA because they block everything. So again, I can see you're all running to jump off a cliff. A cliff. What you're doing is you're relying on the fact that you won the election to say everything you're doing is correct and there's nothing wrong with it. Again, I said you won the election because you had a coalition. A coalition of a wide variety of people. In fact, in the last days of the election, you really expanded your support past casual support into official support by several organizations that do not usually vote for Republicans. And that's something that's a little tricky once you attain the office. But I guess not so tricky if you stay the course. So what I would suggest is somebody in the Justice Department find out. You don't even have to find out all of it. You'll understand who I am, how I've helped the government, and how I have been psychologically operated and psychologically tortured by members of the Justice Department and other agencies, including the social media people affiliated with the government. I've tried to appease them over the years to see if they would, let me up, and I'm being tortured. And it includes law enforcement. And I would suggest that you find a way to give me some money. I really do. God's not going to let this charade go much longer. I mean, those people are bound for hell. I know what you all want. I can see it. You're willing it. But it's not going to happen. Apparently, this is the way they kill people, to include freaking them out so bad that they run in the street screaming, and a cop shows up that's on the take, and they shoot the person, saying they were a danger. A little bit of Earl Grey tea there. I have no idea why I could. Well, actually, I do have an idea. They put that into my head to say, see, you have the same thing happening. You just don't realize it. I do have an idea why I couldn't get to my brothers over the last 4 years after we planned it. That's where I needed to go. I would have found some decent doctors, and we would have figured it out. It is members of the Justice Department and other places and spies that created the world where I couldn't get anywhere and where people were destroying my life and destroying my massage therapy. At this point, I don't know if massage therapy is going to work until maybe there's some surgery or something, and I don't even know if it'll work then. I mean, I needed to see some serious doctors, and that's what I set up for myself. If I went to Philadelphia, I could have found some other doctors to look even closer at the issues. What I need to find out is if there's something higher up the chain causing some of the issues. I mean, they just destroyed my back by not allowing me to seek treatment. I mean, here I am 4 years later, and I feel like I'm right back to Amarillo. I mean, I had people harassing me that shouldn't even have known that I was in the community. I mean, I don't even know how much federal funding, state funding, and local funding went into it. No, they're trying to keep me from my brother, and that's for sure. Because they know that was the answer. That would have been a perfect answer for me to go live with my brother for 6 months. I mean, at this point, the only way to handle it in the short term might be just to let it tighten while trying to stretch it a little bit. And then maybe I can get back to at least where I was before all this happened in the last year or 6 months, whatever it is, actually a few months. I don't know if I can. I don't know if there was more damage to the back or what. They should not have been allowed. The Justice Department can pay me money. You all go to the Justice Department, go in there, grab the money, and pay me. Obviously, I'm owed. I've helped every administration, definitely the last 4 administrations. Or wait, 2, 3, at least the last 3 administrations. And, I have 4. Yeah, I helped the tail end of the Bush administration. That's when I came back in to helping government. I mean, my work, I don't know if they stole the credit or what, but my work's worth millions of dollars. The damages that they caused is worth millions of dollars. All they had to do was stay away from my life. And they couldn't do it. I'm telling you, you're just going in the wrong direction. And I'm helping steer you in the right direction, but eventually that won't work. That's how God does this. If you take advantage of my help, eventually bad things happen. Now, you look at Biden. Well, Biden lived a good life. He's wealthy. He's Teflon. Right. But I'm telling you, they're all going to hell. You're going to hell for what you did to me and anything similar to it. Well, if you help me at this point in my life, God might equivocate. No, I'm in pain still. It's just not at that level of crying out in pain. And again, they get off on that. They enjoy that. I mean, there's no shoes that are going to fix this. Right. Well, I mean, I don't know what they're telling you. I believe I have not been able to get to medical treatment in the last 4 years, which is going to screw up all of this. In other words, I should have got to my brothers. I should have been able to buckle down and get an appeal going, and all that medical evidence that was in Texas should have been put into the file. I don't know where it is. I contact hospitals. They don't have anything. And they played it like this. Right. They were in the medical care. They're trying to speak through me. I'll block them. In fact, I'll crash them. I can't heal the administration like I used to. If you want that, then you need to take care of me. Again, when I was taking care of the administration last time, I had a minimum quality of life that has not existed since then. This is reality, all of you. I've got no idea what to say. Now I got some massage place possibly playing a game with me, trying to get out of that automatic payment system there. Now, I don't know if it's fake or real, but she never mailed me the automatic payment form yesterday, or the withdrawal from automatic payment. She said to me, she said, look, I'll make this payment that came out today, your last payment. Just get this into me by the end of the day. And I never received the form. I don't know if it's them or the deep state. My information is definitely getting to you. I just don't know how. I'm going to try not putting anything on anything that I have and see what happens. I'm not going to try to relax the muscle or anything for now. But I can feel it on my left side already beginning to hurt. The right side's too compact. I did sleep in 2 blocks last night that were, probably 3 hours or so, maybe even a little longer. I think I fell asleep very early last night. Praise God for that. And I was able not to eat in the middle of the night, which, probably adds to it. I mean, this really happened. I think God's trying to send a message with Mr. Rubio's plane trouble. Because there's people already strategizing how to give me nothing. All they have to do is get me somewhere in life and give me the money they owe me. Which means, give me the money, I'll get out of here. There's no way for me to pull out of this lease. And again, the people here want that because they get paid money to monitor me and mess up my life. I don't even know if anybody on social media can hear me. That's how bad it is. What, I'm going to talk to somebody and an agent's going to be on the other side and make a fake world? I mean, they're sick. Right. You're all moving in the wrong direction. And that wrong direction is going to allow you all to be prosecuted in 5 years or less than 5 years. They'll probably start right away. The prophylactic pardons and it's just not going to work. I mean, at this point, I'm not dangerous like that. Y'all trying to make me dangerous like that, right? You just got to get me somewhere. I mean, I can get myself somewhere. You just got to get me the money. I'll hire a few people. I'll break the lease here. I'll pay the monies I need to pay to get out of here, and then I'll be gone. I'll go to my brother's and figure that out. I don't, this happened last time. I can feel it's the same thing. I thought I was going to get something. They keep making me believe I'm going to get something. They just did that yesterday. Right. Well, why? How did they do that? Right. They made me believe that she was going to be able to do an appeal. Right. In some way. Like an inside, conversation, knowing who I am, knowing what I'm owed, that kind of thing. I mean, y'all have millions and millions of dollars. Just figure out some way. I mean, they don't even let my GoFundMe go. You got to put money in my GoFundMe. I mean, in reality, the CIA and the FBI could put money in my GoFundMe, even government money, and make it look good. Right? Like it's just people. Right. I don't even know if anybody sees my GoFundMe. Agreed. I mean, this is what they're up to. Now, you have to understand, Hannity can keep the party faithful happy. And that thing you have with Hannity, where, they're trying to drive a wedge. Again, if this is, your plan, they're trying to drive a wedge between Donald Trump and Elon Musk, and it's obvious. That's not going to do anything more than you already have the support of. That part of the coalition that was further out, they're going to remain questioning. Apparently, there was a meeting. I'm trying to get this on here. I'm trying to figure out why my apartment wasn't warming up. No, last night when I laid down, I felt pretty good. I had a little bit of pain, but I felt pretty good. So that was good. Right. And I'm not taking too much of anything. Right. I mean, their goal is for me to get on narcotics. Again, don't listen to them. I've never harmed anyone, and I will never harm anyone. That's an affirmation I always make to make sure that I power that future for myself, regardless of what they do. So these are things I could have taught people throughout my life, or at least the end, after I woke up. Again, awakening is a Christian thing also, and a Jewish thing. I'm not speaking about awoke, but awoke is what it is. Some people are awake and some aren't. Well, I don't know where Supreme Court is going to end on all of it, but the initial courts are probably going to not find in favor of Trump all that much. The Trump administration is, right? And I think the more you all try to project the mandate and take on the courts, I think the less effective you're going to be in the courts. Because what you're doing is what you're doing, and that's questioning the reality of the government. Well, we're not, this is the funny part. because Elon's out there saying true democracy. I mean, it's comical. You know, if I have my health, it's almost comical. But again, I am trying to get somewhere, and this is just really kind of messing up where we want to go. Right. Well, if I was younger and I had my health, I'd have many years ahead of me to do my stuff on Earth to help you all and get your governments and everything else forward. Agreed, sir. No, I have to look to see what's going on. I think there might be something further up my spine, and because I'm missing that, they may have to actually do a couple of procedures, right? Serious, surgical procedures to make this work. Right. Thanks, sir. Well, Republicans are the ones that say we're not a true democracy, which we're not. We're a republic. We have this checks and balances thing. Again, I will tell you, you are what's called is a faction. Okay? Well, the courts know this. If you read the Federalist Papers, the courts exist and all this extra exists. It was designed to stop a faction, even if it was a sizable faction, from taking over the United States for their own purposes. It's just they've cursed Elon and they're operating him and he doesn't realize it. And anybody that's outside of like the MAGA faithful can see it, maybe even some inside, because they're just not going to talk about it generally. But he's talking about unelected bureaucrats. I mean, his position is that there's nobody in the history of the United States that is powerful, not mostly, but as powerful as Elon Musk as an unelected bureaucrat. He's like the king of unelected bureaucrats. I'm just telling you, this is just, he shouldn't even be speaking about it. Because it's just bizarre. And then he talks about the democracy, and for years they all say, well, we're the Republic. I think even in this election. But one thing that was built into the government of the United States is to stop exactly what you're trying to do, good, bad, or indifferent. Again, not judging it, but you're trying to redesign the United States for your own use. Well, there's no doubt that we need to reduce the budget. But what you're doing is you're saying everything you're doing is based upon reducing the budget or something like that, or reducing again, there's obviously personal animosities in some of that. Right. Now, I'm going to go back to some things that happened before Elon Musk attacked. Right. They may have been harassing him from those departments. So he's getting rid of them, and he has an axe to grind, but maybe that thing is a true thing. Like, maybe it does need to be addressed. What I'm saying is there's a little more than them just trying to drive a wedge between Trump and Elon Musk. Get around here. Something saying that somebody's here, like spiritually. Somebody's here stalking me. Could be behind a cloaking mechanism or whatever. Just pay me some money. I don't know if the VA is going to fly. I have no idea where my medical records are. I mean, theoretically, the Republican Party should just make sure I get paid. Again, the government operates a certain way, and payments are made sometimes out of convenience for the government. Not saying that I don't have that. It was just because of all the other interference that they don't want to talk about, that they don't want adjudicated. Right. I mean, like I said, the CIA, the Justice Department, the FBI could release money. I mean, they absolutely fought me getting to my brothers. Yeah, it kind of got a little crazy in the end trying to get there, but again, they're playing their game. Thank you, Larry. Again, I receive a thank you. Hopefully, it's a valid thank you. And it could be an inside. If nobody hears me, I still project inside. Thank you, Larry. I mean, some people are fine. I do not think Susie Wiles is going to go to prison. So she'll just, do the best she can. Well, we don't want it. What I'm getting at was we don't want it to get to the point, and it's on its way to where it was 4 years ago. Again, you need to stop that torture of the U.S. citizen because of that, I had to go in certain directions. But again, I had it under control. If I'd backed Donald Trump, he never would have been back in office. I'll tell you that. I don't know who they would have put in. Thank you, Larry. I don't. But I think some of it's the Russians. Right. Well, I just wish I could at least get to the health where I was like 3 months ago. So I could, get this place, cleaned up and closed down. My brother said he'd pay for somebody to come in and clean it. I'm just not even at that level. I'm hoping to get there shortly. If I get my health back up a little bit. Well, I think part of my sinus issue is that I need to clean this place. But again, if I actually start doing it today, I might be able to get somewhere by the time, because pest control is a week behind now. Right. But I definitely have to get moving on it. I mean, it's even painful to drive in the car. I mean, they've been striving to make me sick like this. This is part of what they do. No, you can't get anywhere when they do this. They knew I existed like this, and they knew. You hear me tapping there because they ended up pulling my cord out with their mind. They just have to wheel me offline, right? And that happens. Yeah, obviously what they did over the years caused me to have this spinal issue at the level that I have it. at the age that I have it. 100%. I mean, I wish I could have just, figured out that you could move out of Santa Fe and go somewhere else very quickly. Right. But, again, they're operating me. I'm trying to live a quiet life. I'm not a man of means. Right. And actually, under Biden, and I think the last Trump years, the pay did increase quite a bit. But again, as I said, balancing the budget is not as difficult as everybody thinks. It's a lot of quid quo pro and things in there. Now, understand something. The Republicans are going to do something similar. They're going to pay certain people. So part of the system is still going to remain, I wouldn't say corrupt, but this is how it grows again. Right? Again, not having good sleep is a big part of, not being able to get things done, right? Besides the pain. But I welcome the wonderful sleep I had last night compared to usual, and I'm not sure exactly what did that, but I was able to warm the apartment without turning the overhead on, the vents, and the central. I don't think it's healthy. And I didn't do that last year, and I didn't even have the supplemental heat, and I was fine. So I don't know, or maybe not. Who knows? I was doing okay. I mean, enough to function. When I was building the Ark, early on, I was doing fine. Again, you all were breaking in. I have no idea what you were doing in here. I'm trying to communicate with my mind. I'm blocking them. Again, this is happening to everyone. But you're all not knowing it's going on, and you're being steered. Now, of course, I'm being steered also, but at least I can tell you that it's happening. And I can tell God that it's happening. And that it has an effect. Well, I think a lot of people really don't care whether things go successful or not. Agreed. I think as long as they get theirs and they stay protected. Again, what you're seeing there's a lot of people seeking protection from Donald Trump. Well, we've committed a lot of crimes. Try to make sure I eat. See where I am after I'm finished eating. No, I can't take another loan. See, they're just trying to crash my money. They crash my money, somebody pays them. What they're trying to do is freak me out right now that nobody hears me and try to cause a mental disruption off of that. By the time I left the government, they had already designed a system where they can keep me from anybody knowing anything about my life online. I tell you the truth, I can't even remember what it was like to be healthy, at least the level when I was going into Menards looking for wood. Thank you. I don't know how healthy I was. I know I was better off than I am right now. What I'm trying to do is just leave my back be and my legs be until my appointment on Monday so I can see that doctor and get in and see him. I'm not averse to doctors. They're just psychologically operating me from doctors. I told you years ago, my mother called the police and said I was dangerous. And it was a thing that was hatched. Again, I couldn't even get to fix that because they crashed my life. They crash my life every time I have a plan. I mean, they're listening to wiretap, so they know when to do it. And they're stalking my life. I mean, you also just decide to pay me. So I came out of the government. They drugged me. I didn't even remember all that it was. I believe I was also drugged in government. So I get back home and I'm planning. I don't even know what the statements my mother made. I can't even tell you what they were, but they were definitely bullshit. And she agreed. I'm sure it was on wiretap. She said that, it was wrong to do what she did. When she was done, she was totally freaked out because the dude that was with her was a con man. It was my brother's, one of my other brother's brother-in-law. And he actually was tried for fraud. Wasn't convicted, but. So I went there, got home, made an appointment to see a doctor, a psychological doctor. And within an hour, cops were in that place pulling me out. Saying, what happened? I said, I don't know what happened. I made breakfast. But I mean, it freaked me out. I mean, it's psychologically debilitating. I tried to get the ACLU to take the case. Of course they didn't take it. Deep State told them no, probably paid them millions and millions of dollars, probably hundreds of millions of dollars. I was jumped and I was drugged in there for reading the Bible. I'm the real deal. I'm the real deal. No, nothing was going on in there. I was talking to people about Christianity. I didn't even know they could hear me because my hearing was probably down a little bit. Right. They shoot you up and you sleep for days after you read the Bible. That was an attempt to get me to stop reading the Bible. And that was we were supposed to get a lawyer and get to the point where we reverse that. I mean, people doing this to me kill people every day. They just don't even care. Right. And the guy sounded so nice. I don't even know, I just never got to it after that. Then after that, I had an aversion to any of it. Right. Thank you, Larry. And I healed. I was able to heal, and I was even able to remember what actually happened in these places, or most of them. I remembered what happened in Omaha, and that somebody walked up to me and was most likely part of it. Right? You don't sit in a Starbucks and start sipping from your tea, and somebody say, "Go back to the crazy hospital." I was doing nothing crazy. I was just drinking my tea. But they're trying to put that paranoia. it was in the tea, but I don't believe it was. I believe it was something they wiped on the car or something like that. These people can get keys to any car. They can break in. Cop shows up. You know, there's probably the cop could have been there while they were breaking in. That's how dirty it is. Here's a brief break away from the serious information. So when you try to return something, the first hurdle is when you get a response, like a warranty repair or warranty exchange or whatever it is when it's especially when it's a Chinese company. Is the first hurdle is that responding to that first email. That's why they always ask you for something instead of just addressing it. They don't have to, they're going to do it anyway. Right. Because you have to break through that will not to respond to email. Then they ask for like the ones that ask for a video. That's a scam because you can't send a video through the Amazon system. Maybe they don't know, but it seems like kind of scammy. I tried like 15 times. Where's a video? I can't send a video. Right. So at least they said video or photos, and I showed them photos. My humidifier is leaking, made a mess in here. This is the second one that did the same thing. I would really prefer a refund. Hopefully they offer it. And I bought a thermometer. Like they have a humidifier. I mean a humidistat built in. But if you can buy a separate SCOVY, separate thermometer and humidistat. Now I should have. That's a separate. See, they're trying to get me to speak on something. I'm trying to get them out of the thought process. Wow. So I bought a separate one, so it's like an upgrade. It's more accurate, and it's away from the device. If your humidistat's in your humidifier, it's going to be off a little bit. So it allows you to network in another one, and I did that. But I mean, I don't find that it's a good design. I think what happens, I think if you use like Cool Mist, that it wouldn't happen. But if you use the warm mist, and it's supposed to be built for warm mist because it has warm mist and it's better for you and all that, eventually a piece of the plastic deforms or something. And it loses its seal, so all that water from the upper tank goes into the lower tank. So I sent them some pictures today. I'm going to hopefully get the money refunded. Usually they give you at this point, like because they've already placed it once. They don't want to because if they don't. Some people just don't. I read it all the time on Amazon. They don't know how to use the system, manage the system to get replacements or returns. Right. Or warranty service. Usually at this point, I don't know if they will, they usually offer you, because they don't want to send me another 3 or so whatever it is going to be in the next year. So they'll offer you a refund sometimes. I don't know if they'll do that. Well, they bank on people not, just saying, and throwing it away. And not working off of the warranty. So why did I contact Amazon? Oh, I went through the Amazon. They have the help. You push the help button. The Amazon Tech Services Coach Help. Yeah, all it is, they tell you to recycle it, and I did that so many times. It has nothing to do with that. It's a physical deformity within the Govee. So that woman had me do the messaging through Amazon instead of going directly to her site, which was kind of weird. I went to their site before. It is a little weird. So I'm glad she did that. She did a great job. I think she's probably Filipino. Or Right. I thanked her. I said, yeah, this is a good idea. Because they did respond really quickly, very quick. I never seen them respond so quick. So I'm not sure if that particular item has some sort of issue like that. No, I'm a little leery and a little nervous about my VA thing. I don't know if it's going to go through. I mean, I definitely have it. I'm not sure, how to, go about it. So I guess I get that the lawyer. No, I have no idea how this all happened. I was doing fine, and then I got sick again. I mean, not perfect. Again, I'm always disabled. I'm always walking kind of strange. I always have, cramped muscles and inflammation, and they're doing this to me. There's no neighborhood watch that needs to watch me. I'm the one that needs to watch the neighborhood watch. Correct. But that's the deep state, all of you. So if you're not willing to fight that, I mean, yeah, if I could sit in bed a few hours a day and be comfortable, I'd be happy. I wouldn't be so adamant about this stuff. Again, for years I just allowed it to be, because you can't. What are you going to do? I mean, they're using psychological processes beyond the present mind can communicate, because they're stalking me. Man, yeah, it makes me sound like a kook. Why? Because everybody else got their money and they're not going to say it exists. Right. Everybody I say that was part of it was part of it. And that's the bottom line. I mean, I was back in Naples, Florida, and I found out they were following me. And they make up this story. Again, everybody that repeats the story gets money. You can't give him money because he's dangerous. I mean, come on. Or he's already got his money. I wish I could just lay in my bed and broadcast, or sit in a chair and broadcast, but I can't. Sitting there walking around my apartment, almost looks like I'm a hoarder now, because I couldn't complete my project. Because I kind of turned my front room into a workshop. I mean, I really could just probably cut all this stuff and throw it in the trash if I wanted to, but I just want to see if I can give it to somebody. Well, you didn't want me to build the ark. You won, but it's not something to win. Again, God, Hashem, reminds me, you built the ark. That thing in the photo is the ark. This is just a fireplace that I was going to build to put under the ark. I wish I could have got that mentality months ago. I wouldn't have purchased anything more. Well, my experience is, when I contact a religious community, that the cops go in and tell them I'm too dangerous to help, or something like that, or not to help me. Right. Or if veteran community. Because again, I could contact them and say, hey, I'll let you have all this. I just need help getting out of, I said I was kind of bedridden for a little while, and it just got beyond me, right? Oh. No, when I was walking, I'm walking like with a strange gait, with stiff joints. Just because I'm walking doesn't mean that I'm healthy and not disabled. Oh, you just need to stay away from me and let me get my life back and let me get to my, like the massage. It wasn't just the massage. So they get me pushed out of the massage. Then they start making it look like I have a life in the city so that I stay there after they do that. All right. Because somebody's getting a lot of money to do this to me. They don't want you to leave. They just want to torture you and get paid for it. No, the people that are doing this to cops also. You just don't, like a cop goes out on retirement or dies or eats their gun. You don't know what's happening, right? This is what they're doing to them. Ugh. Ugh. No, I wouldn't have been like this had I found a woman and got to a normal life. Very difficult to sit. What I'm going to do is try to, like I said, not take any of the supplements. The problem was it was tightening up so bad I had to take some of the supplements. Today it doesn't seem like that. So I have to, not take those baths and see if I get better. Right? Because you can overdo those baths. That can even cause a stomach disruption. Right? But I made sure I'm making sure I'm eating this morning, just in case there's some weird thing with that makes it tight. Again, we're heading for some very cold weather. No, I don't only have the saw and the drill press. I actually have tables for it and everything. So I spent a lot of money. So I don't know if I can be helped by any volunteers. I don't even know who to call. Well, the idea is, you can't call somebody in to help with this. It's just it's too unmanageable. It's so cold out there. If it wasn't cold, it'd be easier. No, this is their plan. Their plan to do this to me. Again, the government of the United States was taken over by criminals. And that's what happened. I didn't say anything for years. They just kept trying to kill me. And, it's a psychological murder, but all they had to do was stay away from me. And my life would have picked, and they knew it. That's why they put people in to identify when my life would go up, and then they attack. No, I'm no cold case or serial killer. I was just like regular husband. Right? But these people would enter into my life playing that. It was like a CIA thing, right? Don't know who, what, when, and where, years ago, how they got into my life and tried to do it. But the inference that came in was that thing that happened years ago, right? With that young lady. I had nothing to do with having sex with her. I barely knew her. She was just staying in a house, like a house we had for sale. Because I was homeless, they were homeless, right? Theoretically. Right? But I would during the day go my direction, they would go theirs. No, I wasn't cursed because of that. Somebody was physically in my life. I'll tell you the truth, the way I see it playing out, if I read it right, again, I didn't know, about seeing or anything like that, was that she was trying to communicate a desire to get out of that situation, but wasn't comfortable yet. So she had made a conversation with me. I mean, hindsight being 2020. Eventually, she would have, if she felt comfortable, said something. Now, it wasn't a situation where she was absolutely in bondage, but I think she was looking for a way to get eventually away from him because he was just a nasty person. But again, I think she felt that if she tried to get away from him, it could develop into something that she didn't want. That again, the same thing as my mother and I. We had to play it right, or something would happen to us. Right. So here's the piece that doesn't seal. It should have like a screw-in piece. It just it's a pressure fit piece, and I guess the water causes the piece in the seal in the humidifier tank. Just pressure from the water, but eventually that fails. And they probably responded real quick in Amazon because those things fail. So I do believe, because I felt like she was reaching out to me, didn't know what it was for sure, right. But I think it's like, I think the thing degraded pretty quick. I can't remember how it worked, and maybe he was getting like a feeling that something was going to happen. Right. It's just insane, Again, over the years, I was able to study crime and things like that, and it's interesting, the mindset of criminals. And again, it's possession. In other words, Rabbi Yeshua ben David came along and he helped people understand that forgiveness is available to most everybody. So criminals that commit heinous crime, there's again, this is very important that I came to this planet and say this here because I'm correcting some of the falseness. Criminals that commit a crime are not culpable beyond their metaphysical culpability. Because we can see people just, breathe air and they get something in life. We see other people work all their life and never get anything. That's metaphysics. So I was cursed, there's no doubt about that, but there's physical things happening. Again, that reception I received trying to convince me it's just metaphysics may have, I don't know where the lady is, or she'd be a lady, or she could be dead even. But I see from a sparkle container of paper towels that she's reaching out to me, her spirit. Now she could be alive and not know that, or know that, or be dead. Right, it's a lot of years ago. Thank you, Lawrence. Yeah, I believe Satan intervened, and what was ever going to develop never developed, like me getting her out of there and all that. We had to be like, it would have been the same scenario. I would have called my mother. We would have worked something out where we get her wherever she wanted to go, whether it was to my mother's place or somewhere else. So we would have figured out, my mother would have, asked her questions about her situation. And we would have figured out if we needed to get her into a woman's or a teen shelter, or or back to her parents if she wanted to go back there. Because my stepfather did some stuff and I couldn't go home for a while. And I've been, my mother didn't even do a missing persons thing when I was a kid. My mother didn't even do a missing persons thing. So again, you like to think your mother is wholesome, but I learned when she called the cops and all that and had me, put away for just a few days, 5 days at the most. What happened is she did that, and the next day she wanted me out. She realized, she learned that she couldn't do that. Right? She lost control of it. And I tried telling the dude, I said, look, I said to the doctor, I said, my mother has been on medication for 20 years. This is not what you think it is. And he just, was obviously the fix was in. Correct. I healed so many times, and they kept trying to make me mentally ill. And of course, I have issues for so many years, and the physical issues from them. There's no doubt. And some of these people just hate Jews. So again, I was, all in for seeing a doctor, and I had seen doctors, right? But they messed it up. And I didn't need medicine. Even the doctor, the guy was prescribed medicine for a while, and I didn't take it. And the doctor said, you're not probably going to need this your whole life. We'll get forward to this. And I could have, if they hadn't gotten in the middle. I just needed some decompression. Because they had killed me all that time. I was in the government. It's a science. People that do this have a CIA science on how to do this. It's pretty weird how now the house heats up real quick. Right. Just the addition of one of these things. And it's not that cold today. I do admit it's in its 30s. But I'm not going to need all this in a little bit. But I also do believe that the heater that I purchased is very well. It's just not conducive to what I wanted, a remote control and all that. And the one she replaced it with, the one that she would have purchased would have been probably the same general unit with digital controls and a remote control. Them Pelonas radiator heaters are nice. I think it's bigger than the one I have. I bought two right before a blizzard, or not a blizzard, a freezing, a drop of polar vortex or whatever they called it. Yeah, the other ones are just like a generic from Home Depot, and I don't know, they just don't work. I probably paid the same amount of money as that cost, but that's quite a few years ago, I guess. So stay peaceful, praise God, and all that you do, praise God.